When a colossal warship, dislodging 30,000 tons and dubbed the maritime early warning bastion, suddenly materializes from the electromagnetic fog in the war-shadowed Gulf of Oman, its hull bristling with massive radar radomes, does this signify a complete rewrite of battlefield rules, or a silent demonstration of modern warfare's essence? According to multiple foreign military outlets including Asian Defense Security and Military Observer magazine, a Chinese naval task force comprising the maritime surveillance vessel Louguang, a Type 055 destroyer, and a Type 052D guided missile destroyer has been stationed in the Gulf of Oman around March 9. The timing of this fleet's deployment is highly significant, coinciding with escalating tensions between the US, Israel, and Iran amid widespread speculation of impending military confrontation. Reports indicate the fleet's primary mission is to monitor the military activities of relevant parties in the Middle East. In fact, even before this task force appeared, foreign military websites speculated it would participate in the China-Russia-Iran Security Belt 2026 joint maritime exercise originally scheduled for the near future. However, subsequent revelations about the exercise details indicate some changes. In the initial lineup announced by Iranian state media, Russia deployed only one 2,000-ton Project 20,380 light frigate, while the Iranian Navy mobilized several of its own mainstay light frigates and missile boats. Ultimately, the much-anticipated Chinese naval vessels did not appear in the exercise formation. Some analysts suggest this absence does not signify a retreat in stance, but rather a strategic calculation made at a time of heightened geopolitical sensitivity in the Middle East. It reflects a commitment to strategic autonomy and an avoidance of involvement in activities carrying overtones of bloc confrontation. However, absence from the exercise does not equate to absence from the region. On the contrary, the deployment of the Louguang and its escort fleet in the Gulf of Oman has drawn far greater international attention than a routine military drill. This maritime behemoth, dubbed a strategic early warning vessel or intelligence collection ship, is even considered to wield greater strategic influence than the fleet's firepower-heavy Type 055 destroyers. Open-source intelligence indicates the Louguang class vessel possesses strategically significant performance parameters. With an endurance of approximately 100 days at sea and a range exceeding 20,000 kilometers, it demonstrates the capability for prolonged operations in critical offshore zones. Its most striking feature is its radar system. Visually, the vessel features 6 massive spherical antenna radomes. 3 of these large spheres reportedly house P, L, and C-band gallium nitride digital array radars, while the other 3 are equipped with Ka, K, and Ku-band radars. This configuration enables precise capture and analysis of full-spectrum electromagnetic signals, establishing an electromagnetic surveillance network with virtually no blind spots. The system's detection capabilities have drawn significant external attention. It is claimed to detect aerial targets at distances up to 6,000 kilometers and simultaneously track as many as 1,200 airborne and missile targets. More critically, its target identification accuracy is reported to exceed 95%. Enabling the system to distinguish between ballistic missiles, stealth aircraft, and conventional aerial platforms. This capability distinguishes the Lookout 1 from traditional reconnaissance vessels. It does not merely collect electromagnetic signals, but constructs a wide-area battlefield situational awareness map. It can track and provide early warning for the entire flight path of ballistic missiles and hypersonic weapons, and even possesses the potential to monitor and control space targets such as satellites and spacecraft. The strategic intent behind deploying such a strategic-level asset in the Gulf of Oman has sparked widespread speculation. Adjacent to the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman is one of the world's most sensitive maritime energy corridors, and a frontline zone in the current military standoff. When the Lookout 1 is anchored in these waters, its radar detection range theoretically covers vast areas of the Middle East. This means that electromagnetic signals generated by activities such as ship takeoffs and landings, radar activation, missile tests, and fighter patrols in this region could all fall under its surveillance. Some analysts note that the demonstration of this capability effectively places a heavy strategic weight in the contest for information superiority, the core of modern warfare. It alerts potential adversaries that any surprise military operation risks losing its element of surprise due to exposed electromagnetic signatures, thereby implicitly raising the cost of military action. The deployment of such a high-value intelligence asset in a tense region naturally requires commensurate protective forces. The accompanying Type 055 destroyer and Type 052D guided missile destroyer fulfill this role. The Type 055 possesses formidable integrated air defense capabilities, with its dual-band radar and 112-cell vertical launch system forming a multi-tiered shield against air and missile threats at long, medium, and short ranges. The Type 052D, meanwhile, serves as the backbone of the Chinese Navy's air defense force, excelling in both air defense and anti-submarine warfare. Of course, details regarding the specific deployment of the Lookout No. 1 primarily originate from foreign military websites and defense analysts, and have not yet been confirmed by official Chinese channels. Diverse opinions exist online, suggesting that related information may lack authoritative evidence. Nevertheless, this does not diminish the intense international military interest in this vessel and its task force movements. When compared to the U.S. Navy's Howard Lawrence missile satellite tracking and measurement ship, operated by the Military Sealift Command, and featuring a full load displacement of 12,500 tons, the Louguang No. 1 is widely regarded as holding advantages in tonnage and radar aperture. This is seen as reflecting technological iteration within maritime intelligence reconnaissance. This generational technological gap theoretically grants the Lookout 1 enhanced multi-target tracking capabilities and signal identification precision, enabling it to more effectively filter noise and lock onto targets within complex electromagnetic environments. From a strategic perspective, the presence of this task force in the Gulf of Oman extends beyond mere military technology. Some analysts interpret it as a silent strategy, rooted in reconnaissance deterrence. This concept refers to using formidable intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) capabilities to strip potential adversaries of operational concealment, thereby suppressing their willingness to act. When a fleet equipped with advanced detection capabilities is permanently stationed near critical waterways, any large-scale troop movements or attack preparations in the region become nearly impossible to conceal their electromagnetic signatures. This transparency significantly heightens decision-makers' concerns about mission success rates, as the likelihood of surprise attacks is drastically reduced. Furthermore, the deployment of this task force reflects the evolution of modern naval operational concepts. Traditionally, naval deterrence relied primarily on gun caliber and missile range. Today, however, the acquisition and counter-acquisition of information, along with control over battlefield transparency, increasingly serve as key indicators of a navy's strength. In modern naval warfare, fleet combat effectiveness is no longer measured solely by the quantity of guns and missiles. The ability to collect, process, and utilize data generated across the electromagnetic spectrum is increasingly becoming the decisive factor in determining victory. The presence of the Lookout 1 and its escort formation in the Gulf of Oman, even if merely conducting routine navigation on the high seas, in compliance with international maritime law, objectively demonstrates this maritime presence strategy grounded in information dominance. Without directly engaging in any conflict, it maintains effective surveillance of regional military dynamics through its formidable monitoring capabilities, all within legal boundaries. Amid escalating military tensions, this silent, technology and data-driven surveillance constitutes a strategic posture of considerable weight in itself. It appears to validate an assessment: the deep waters of great power competition are irreversibly entering an era of near transparency within the electromagnetic spectrum.